Now, before this, all nations had their own bounds according to their family line. They had a lot of land given to them based on their family heritage. Shem had his area, Ham had his area in North Africa, and Japheth had their area over there in Europe and China and all those areas. So there was no need to bring these people together. They had their own thing under there was only one religion at this time, and that was, before that, what Noah showed them, which was the God of all gods. But actually, Satan came in, linked up with Nimrod, and now you bring in all these ethnicities into one place. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? The city that's built out of all nations, kindreds, and tongues? With the Lady Babylon, the Statue of Liberty holding the torch? Sounds familiar? Listen to this clearly. You have your Babylonian religion, Sunday worship, and what else did they learn with this blueprint? I'm talking about your beast governments today. They learned that if you have all people in a concentrated area, they're easier to control. Because you can program them outside of their culture. You create their reality with these cities. So what they did? They say we got to build these cities all around the earth. And make the world believe, make you believe, because you see all these people walking around, that the earth is overpopulated. When really there's enough land for you and everyone that have ever died in this earth. Right now. So in these cities, they can program you into an alternative reality. Okay? Now, moving this up to Rome, I'll get there in a moment. Rome understood that you can control the people through the Marb. The Marb was your Colosseum that was built with enough seats where the whole city could come and see sports or gladiator fighting. In between the fights, the governments have a guy stand on the Marb and preach and bring forth the agenda of government to program the people and distract them with games. So what do? In every great city all around the world, you have your coliseums and your sports to keep you distracted while being programmed for your own destruction. I mean, this is meticulous at the highest level. But what does this have to do with the Bible? I'm going to show you. While you're getting caught up with all these distractions, these guys at the top under Satan is right on it every second, completing their mission under Satan, knowing that they have a short time. This is their religion, folks. People that are hiding at the Pentagon, they're Satanists, all of them. They have a mission. Now, the tough part about this is that they have a greater influence on us and society than those that believe have on them. Okay? We have no influence over them. They got the power. They have the money. They have the influence. So let's go into it. The return of the beast. Let's go to Revelations 17. When we speak of beast, Christians are taught that the beast is some man that's going to pop up at the very end called the Antichrist. When the beast in Scripture speaks definitively of governments and powers. It speaks of governments. Let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter. Let's get that real quick.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and the four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Verse 4. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings.
Lion with eagle wings represents Babylon, the Babylonian Assyrian Empire. That's not a man. That's a beast that Daniel seen that would become an empire. Now, the significance of these four beasts is these are the empires the children of Israel must be under for a time before the promises of Abraham is bestowed upon them. So the children of Israel is waiting for all these beasts to be destroyed so that they can actually receive their kingdom. That's the point of Christ. So in order for these empires to thrive in this earth, they must make the children of Israel believe there's someone else. You don't exist. Israel doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. You're nobody. Go back to work. It's straight programming. These beasts cannot fulfill or do their will against us if we have knowledge of who we are. The beast is no one man that's going to pop up someplace. Okay? Read.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
That's the Babylonian Assyrian Empire. Go ahead.
I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand upon the feet as a man.
And that was the king Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead.
And a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast.
Here's the second beast that ruled over the children of Israel. Read.
A second like to a bear.
Go ahead.
And it raised up itself on one side.
It raised up itself on one side because a bear, when it stands up, it have two legs. That's the Persian Medo Empire.
And
modern day Iranians. Read.
And it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it.
Okay, those were the empires that preceded it. Go ahead.
And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
And they went through destroying all empires under Xerxes. You see that in the movie 300. Go ahead.
Verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard.
Like a leopard. Alexander the Greek that wore leopard skin. The known homosexual. Go ahead.
Which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl.
Why? Because his empire was split in four pieces under his four generals, which eventually took parts of Egypt and different areas of Asia. And now you got the European conquest taking the Asians out of their areas, placing Europeans in after Alexander the Greek. 333 BC we're talking about here. Go ahead.
The beast had also four heads.
It had four heads. Those were the four generals. Now, if you went against the generals back then, at that time under Alexander the Greek, you were killed. You were called terrorists. Sound familiar? But these beasts were set up to destroy the children of Israel. Read.
Verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast.
A fourth beast, go ahead.
Dreadful and terrible.
Dreadful and terrible. This beast is worse than all of them. Read.
And strong exceedingly.
Go ahead.
And it had great iron teeth.
Iron teeth. It's weaponry. Read.
It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet.
And it stamped the residue in the feet of it. That means anything in its wake it would destroy. You know who that is? The Roman Empire. The Great Republic. Now, what made the Republic of Rome greater than the other beasts? Rome learned from the prior beasts and realized in order to expand, you must use psychology and absorb the other nations and make them part of you. Okay? The other empires stayed pat under their kingdom. Rome said, no, we will expand. We will expand until we take the whole earth, and we will convert the earth into our ideology. And we'll live by the sword. We'll use the sword to do it. We'll kill off all those who have the knowledge of who we are and teach and re-educate their children to to follow and love the great whore. See that? Sounds familiar, right? You wasn't supposed to know this. Okay? You were brought over in shackles to work and build the construct. But they're the Masons. And some people will ask, well, why would they want to implode or destroy their own construct? Why? They built it under Satan. And once they use it for what they need it for, it's expendable. When they came over to the Americas, they didn't have no long-term plans to stay there. They went there to enslave us, to set up their empire, and make a scapegoat to be destroyed so that they can have power in Rome once again. This is biblical, brothers and sisters. So when you see somebody come through and shoot up a movie or do something, and then it's conveniently a convenient press conference is made up with this theater of your police and mayors standing up that we have to do something, and your president looking presidential. Listen, all these things are leading to the implosion so that Rome can have power again. And America will get the blame. It's all scriptural. And listen to this. Here's the key piece of this. Piece I want to bring here. It's all Bible prophecy. It must happen. The great thing about this is we're way past these four beasts. And we're only dealing now with the little horn that came out of her. That's America. That's all the empires that preceded Rome, all together, wrapped up into one. If you don't believe me, go to your art museums. Why do your federal buildings have Roman architect? When you go to church every Sunday, why are you following an ancient Babylonian religion of a virgin child with the Madonna mother? That's Babylon. Think about it. Why is the all-seeing eye on your dollar bill? Think about it. How is it that the same way Rome would take down an empire and absorb that empire, then set up schools and churches to teach you teach you the psychology to love those that destroyed you? Where did they get that blueprint? It's all the beast wrapped up in one. It's the little horn. But the little horn had to mask herself to make you believe that she didn't exist, or it's somebody else from the past. The only way she can operate is to stay hidden. Listen to this clearly. Read. Let's go down to the little horn that came out of her. No, let's go to the 10. The 10 horns. I mean the 10 fractions of her.
Verse 7.
That's what I want. Read.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. And it had 10 horns. This is what makes Rome different than the others. They kept one base, but no. Rome started setting up bases in other areas to expand herself. Sound familiar? Who were the 10 horns? Let's read the 10 horns. All Europe. Name them for me if you don't mind. Luxembourg.
1.
Denmark.
2.
Belgium.
3.
Netherlands.
4.
Germany.
5.
Sweden.
6.
France.
7.
Spain.
8.
Great Britain.
9.
Switzerland.
10. Those were the original 10. All right? So these were empires before there was any such thing as a place called America. So the ideology of this new land that would come, Rome rebuilt, would come from the mindset of these 10 horns.